I'm all ready. This stream will last for as long until I get my phone call. Cause I was watching Elia's stream and it lit a fire in me of wanting to talk about video games. She was playing Earthbound and I started talking to her about video games of the now. And I realized I want to talk about video games forever. I love video games. Well and truly, I love video games. It is one of my favorite things on this planet. It is. I was reminded of why I feel video games are such a worthwhile art form. You know, it's one of those cliche things of like, it's become a cliche to say you believe video games are art, because video games as art was sort of an idea pushed after Roger Ebert, kind of slagged off games back in like 2004, I think. God, it's been so long. And that combined with the Jack Thompson lawsuits and sort of the controversies and the like bad media and like the portrayal in media, by people who like clearly hadn't grown up playing video games, or if they did play video games, they really didn't have like a total understanding of stuff. They just kind of, they played games, but they didn't really like care to look too much into it. Like, you get the idea that these people played like I don't want to say they're casual so much as they were just like, they were people who played video games. They were not gamers or like deep into gaming culture at all. And so you had the I've mentioned that a few of these games look like they're the fake games in a cop show, and that's kind of what I mean. Video games are something that are clearly important to the culture that you need to reference at some point, the same way you would reference a movie or some music. But a lot of people, since it's so young, relatively speaking, especially in terms of being accepted by the mainstream, it is very hard to like, and it's constantly changing and evolving. So what games look like, and so like games as an art form was a thing that was pushed to sort of get a seat at the grown-ups table. Gaming is not just some children's toy that only actual children or adult, like man babies or whatever played. It had to be, this deep, important philosophical thing. Games like Shadow of the Colossus, Limbo, and BioShock, and the original Deus Ex. These were games that were sort of like pushed early on as like the end-all be-all of art in video games, and I think that really poisoned a lot of, like, those games are great. Those games are mostly great. But I think they poisoned the idea of what gaming as art sort of meant. There was no real, in my opinion, kind of like the equivalent of the French New Wave or the film brats of the 70s and 60s. You didn't get this like huge artistic wave. Like, you definitely did get an artistic wave of people who played video games when they were younger and then sort of grew up to make video games. But there's this issue of like, movies fought for that too, but it was in a different way. And so the history of video games is not known to many people, and just like the sheer volume of games, price is such a different thing. watching movies is a thing people do, and it's so much ease. There's the ease of access, the thing that separates a viewer from the art. That is pretty big with video games. You watch a movie, you listen to music, you look at a painting, and so on and so forth. There's not a whole lot of interaction there. There are definitely interactive sculptures and stuff, and interactive things, but that tends to be the exception rather than a rule. And nobody has ever taken interactive movies seriously. So, with video games, interactivity, it's not that, this is obviously like a bit you can make fun of me for, go ahead. It does take brain power. You have to actively think about what you are doing while you are engrossed in a game. Now, you don't get to just sort of sit back and relax and sort of just, put your mind in a movie, take your brain power into a movie, take your brain power, read a book, listen to a song, and so on and so forth. It is something you actively have to engage with. Not to say that you don't engage with movies, but most people, especially on their first watch of a movie, tend to kind of, they tend to just relax. They just relax. They don't think much about it. They just have fun. They kind of they view it on a surface level of enjoyment. They go, oh, so this is happening, this character's doing that, this character's doing that, oh, that was a fun, cool thing they did, oh, that was a cool thing they did, and so on and so forth. Whereas, with video games, you do have to kind of go, oh, what am I doing right now in the game? What am I doing in the game? Because you're the player, obviously. God, that's such a fucking, how do I mean? That's such a fucking, like, advertiser way of saying that you are the player. I don't know. I can hear the fucking Sony exec, kind of, who would say that, I hear that. I hear, yeah. That's all I have to. And so, it's kind of just how it goes sometimes. Alright, enough fucking stalling. Enough stalling. Enough stalling. Enough stalling. Enough stalling. Beyond Blue. This game's called Beyond Blue. And it is usually $20, but now it is $17. Inspired by and featuring content from Blue Planet 2. Okay. That's interesting. Ugh, Samuel. The headphones. I can't hear anything that's happening now. There's probably some really nice David Attenborough ass, if David Attenborough's voice is in this, I could go for this. I'm gonna fucking pause it real quick. lurks my only friend. Oh, let me turn that down. Lurks my true friend, my true ally in this world. Here I go. Okay, play. What is this game? That's my fault. Okay. What is this game? You could hear it, I could not hear it. That's why I had to get my headphones. We've opened a cold one. Of Dr. B, of course. Alright, this game is fucked. Alright, let's see here. Beyond Blue takes you into the new future where you explore the mystery. It's a mirage, deep sea, become a part of a newly formed features evocative narrative with full voice cast, considering the original score music, embracing the same powers that was used to create Never Alone, Eli's BAFTA award-winning game about Alaska Native culture. The company partnered with BBC Studios, developers of Example About 2, Ocean X Media, world-class game makers, and science's leading examples. Honestly, the graphics could be better. Like, I know that sounds so fucking stupid, but in a game like this that's really trying to capture the beauty and the majesty of nature, it needs to step its fucking game up. It can't fucking be, it cannot fucking be just some random, flyby graphics, that could be in any game. I need something a little bit more like, I need it to look fucking incredible. And I know that that's impossible. Like, no one is going to fund that. Like, for like it'd have to be like a full $60 just to break even, I think. And there's no way, and it would have to be more detailed, and it'd just be a lot of work for a production that I don't think would be all that profitable. It's not a good idea. Man, I wish I was more eagle-eyed. You know what? Nobody's here. I can just. But even then, it's like I cannot. I just cannot. Like, I cannot see it. Goddamn thing. I really need that fucking HDMI. Can't wait for Monday. I can order my HDMI splitter. And I can actually fucking read. It's $20, and then I can get rid of this fucking hair. Okay, anyways. Out. Beyond Enemy Lines. Beyond Enemy Lines 2. $30. Here we go. Beyond Enemy Lines 2. We're soldier. Not a great start. 2 stars from people who got it. Oh yeah, okay. I'm a freaking soldier, man. I don't have to take your guff. Great trailer, poor buddy. Great trailer. Okay, here we go. Okay. Incredible. Like, this looks fucking awful. I can already tell the shooting is so fucking, like, just bad. Like, it looks like it feels bad to play, and they're selling it for $30, which I think is like the median perfect price point, not for it, but for somebody to be convinced, oh, this could be alright, this could be fine, this could be it. But like, I think if it was like $40, $50, $60, nobody would fall for it, but $30 convinces you that some effort might have been put in. $30 creates the psychological effect that some effort was put into this fucking game. Even if you look at it, you go, well, this is $30, and it looks, I don't really know anything about games. I just play shooters, and I've been looking for a new shooter. I just want to play some soldier games, and this looks good. It's $30. If it was $10 or $15, I'd immediately go, wow, that looks like cheap shit. But this is 32 human dollars, like American dollars. Nobody would rip me off for that. It's fucking garbage. Beyond Two Souls. This one's a bigger game. This one's definitely a bigger game. It's on PS Now, so technically free for anybody. Oh wow, no video. I do not believe this is a David Cage game. I'm gonna look that up real quick. Beyond Two Souls. Beyond Two Souls. Quantic Dream. Is that David Cage? Yeah, that's David Cage. Yep. It's David Cage. I don't trust him with anything. I don't trust him with pretty much anything. I certainly don't trust him with, how much is it? It doesn't, 30 of my dollars. Certainly don't trust him with that. To be clear, this is not coming from a place of, oh, games should have gameplay in them. Games should have real, challenge, they should be engaging. That last part is actually true. I think games, this is a bit of a controversial point on my part. I feel games should be engaging to an extent. I feel games should have some kind of fun or interesting thing about them that makes me go, I would like to play this. I would like to do it. And Beyond Two Souls doesn't look like it has any kind of fun gameplay, any kind of interesting narrative. It's David Cage. I don't trust David Cage with anything, especially not the fucking narrative. So yeah, Beyond Two Souls, don't get it. Plus, if you have PS Now, it's free. So if you already have it, if you don't have it, it'll be $10, and you get a bunch of other games too. Good games, real good games. BB and Tina Adventures with Horses. I'm not the target audience for this. Seemingly, neither is anybody. That's the sound of machinery being moved. Streaming technology. Being men at work to make sure this stream is as best it could possibly be, and to make sure I don't spill soda on myself as I move this dangerous technology around, as I rearrange my human body into a more comfortable position. Now, there's the pencil. Alright, I'm all set. How did it already get fucking dirty? How do my glasses already get fucking smudged? Fuck me. Anyways, I had a minor freak out earlier about a shovelware game like this being sold for $40. And I won't have the same freak out about this because it's $20 half, and it looks terrible, absolutely. But I mentioned that $20-something is like the max for a shovelware game in 2020. There's no way you should be getting away with more than that. $25 even is like absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. $20, $15, $10, $5 free with microtransactions. Don't give a shit. Make sure it's fucking less than $20. Anyways, I forgot I'm controlling this. This is my PlayStation. Okay. BB and Tina at the Horse Farm. This is a series now. I have a feeling this is going to be of a similar caliber to the first one. Damn near the same game. I have a feeling this is based on some sort of book series or web animation or something. You know, this seems like the kind of thing where like if this is an author's, thing, the author was like told, "Hey, you should branch out into like other media. You should go and do some other thing. You should not go do something, like you go make a video game, but rather like you should let us license it out for video games." And that sounds actually kind of nice, get some money, and you don't even have to do any work, Like, the author of this absolutely had no input, not necessarily because she didn't, because she was forced out of it or anything, but rather because, she was probably just like, had no interest in trying to develop a video game. I wouldn't be surprised if the author of these books was like 50 years old, 60, 70, 80, 90, fucking, dead. And then they're just using this as like an excuse to make video games. And so but then, this game comes out and, maybe fans aren't super excited, or maybe parents just mindlessly buy it for their kid. Oh, hey, my kid loves BB and Tina, and they made a game. I'll buy them this, and they'll love it. And they don't love it because why would they? It's got 8 ratings of 5.5 stars, 4.5 stars. I absolutely guarantee you, it's because they're fans of this game. BB Bloxburg, Big Broom Race 3. Yep, see, BB, how are you allowed to call this? My guess is this is, in fact, the third in the series that we've just experienced. But because... I think this is a Rambo First Blood situation where... Rambo 2 First Blood, Rambo 1 2 First Blood 2, where, they wanted to do a different thing in the same universe, and then when they made the video game, they were like, well, this is the third one, but it's so different that we're worried that they'll think it's something else, and so we call it the third one, even though it is, in fact... it is the third one, but it is also very specifically, is this the same character? It is clearly the same character, yeah. Big Bash Boom! What is this? I don't want to look this up, but I've got to for fucking... Where's my source? Where's my fucking... I had a fucking... Where is it? I had a fucking video capture service. What the fuck happened? Where are you? Display capture, yeah, obviously. Add source. Not webcam. Display capture. Yeah, add source. What the fuck, man? Why'd you do that? Oh. YouTube. Big... Bash Boom. Okie review. Oh, it's a fucking goddamn cricket game. Fuck me. You kidding me? We could just watch the Red Letter Media Borat 2 review. But you see this shit? You see this? They've made an attempt at making cricket less boring. They've completely failed. But at least they tried. At least they didn't just go, oh yeah, cricket will be good enough for people to just want to play. Put Mario in here, maybe we'll talk. Maybe we'll talk. But all in all, not interested. Not super interested. Let's see. Okay, let's turn that off. Get out of there. Big Bobby Carr, the big race. Okay. Big Bobby Carr, the big race. Oh, experience the first game with the classic. This looks like a fun little racing game. I'm not even doing my snarky fucking... You can't just buy Mario Kart. Buy a Switch and buy this and buy Mario Kart. I won't even be that snarky. This looks like a nice little game for your fucking kid. This looks like a nice little game for your like little baby kid, for like a baby, for a toddler who doesn't really play games, you know. And you're trying to maybe get him in, or maybe you're trying to teach him complicated machinery like a PlayStation controller. The PlayStation controller is one of the most complicated devices ever created by a human being, and so I could understand, you know. I don't. How much is it? 30? No, never mind. Remember what I just said? Fuck all that. Get a Switch. $30. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? That's a fucking gouge. That's a fucking gouging fucking price. Alright? That's a gouged fucking price. Alright? That's something you do because they know. They fucking know this is for parents. Yeah. Okay. Love hunting games. Gonna get canceled for that, but love hunting games. The only thing about hunting games is that they should be like crazier now. Like really wild. You know, I like the idea of going hunting, but the thing is, at this point, it's like, you know, part of why hunting games are kind of silly to me, to an extent, is because, you know, it's not that I despise hunting. That's gonna get me even more canceled. It's more so that hunting is a very hard thing to explain to people, and showing it in video game form is even funnier and even harder to explain. You know, somehow you have to explain, no, this is fun. Even, you know, like, oh, and you know, and you know, and then you like it lays bare just how kind of silly the idea of hunting is to an extent. Like it's already like hard to like justify going into the woods to shoot deer who aren't hurting anybody, but then you look at it in game form and the deers aren't doing anything, and you're just a guy who's coming up to pretend to shoot them, and it's like, it's so weird. To kind, like, it's just such a crazy experience overall. So in my opinion, hunting games should be crazier. I don't know how, just crazier, just more wild. But at that point, you're just making a fucking Far Cry game, I guess. But I think a full-on hunting game would be fucking sick. The predator shows up. I don't know, just spitballing here. Um. Oh, I have to ask something. Okay, sorry about that. I had to go do a thing. I had to ask a question, a very important question. Samantha, if you're somehow watching this, this is what I asked you for your Discord. Alright, Big Crown Showdown is next. Ugh, my hand. My fucking hand. Ugh. This is somehow the worst position I've ever been in. Usually $13. It's currently $13. Ooh. Oh man, it's 4-player, huh? This looks pretty neat. I bet there's a game somebody's like yelling at me. Oh, this is actually you know how you've been yelling about Mario Kart ripoffs? This is actually a Blumbo ripoff. This is a ripoff of my favorite game, Blumbo. Which it kind of, it kind of created this kind of mode of gameplay. And this is like a cheap imitation of Blumbo. Well, guess what? I ain't ever heard of fucking Blumbo. Alright? I ain't never heard of that shit. So, right now, this is a novel gameplay concept. It looks fun. No! My glasses. I miss Fat Princess. I miss being the Fat Princess. Anyways. Oh, that looks fine. I'm not gonna add it because I don't have nearly enough friends for fucking who own PS4s to come get that. Alright, Big Dipper. Here we go. Looks like a visual novel style game. It's usually $6 and it's currently $6. Alright, Big Dipper. Blow my fucking mind. Language and violence. I don't know about this, guys. Yep. Let me text my boyfriend real quick. Andrew. Music Fireside by Nicholas Heideless. Blah, blah. I don't know. This might appeal to somebody who likes these kinds of games, but I don't really enjoy this kind of interactive narrative sort of deal. This is not my kind of thing, so it might be somebody's thing. It's pretty cheap, so could be somebody's thing. Somebody, you never know. Fucking weirdo, maybe. Anyways, next up is what's after Big Dipper? We just looked at Big Dipper. What's the game we bought? I can't wait to do a highlights reel where we just look at all the cool games we found. Oh, I'm in the seas. Not quite ready for you, seas. Not quite ready. We'll get there, baby. We'll get there. I'm calling you, the viewer, baby. You are my baby now. I hope you've been eating your vegetables. Anyway, where are you? What's the next thing? Where's Big Dipper? There we go. Big Pharma. Ah, dang. We've been hearing about Big Pharma, haven't we? We all know about Big Pharma. Usually $32. Use of drugs, I imagine. Oh, if you roll pad with roll with you. And turn a tidy profit. Ooh. Oh, so like an Infinity Factory thing, but the theme is drugs. Skipping ingredients, okay. So, yeah, research, okay. These great life-saving cures. Combat desires across a variety of unique scenarios. I'm not really into this kind of game. I think, I really want to try one of these games. I think Infinite Factory is going to be my best entry point into this kind of game. Although this game is $7 right now. But as it stands right now, I don't have the fucking brain capability to play a game like Big Pharma. BioShock 2 Remastered. Oh, hey, I get to talk about the BioShock series for a little bit. That's actually really surprising. I did not expect to talk about that. I'm so dumb. I don't know how I didn't realize we were gonna be here. And so I am here. Hi, I am here. $20 for BioShock 2. That's fucking criminal. BioShock 2 is not a good game. It just isn't. None of the BioShock games are really worth that much, to be totally honest. They're all bad games, really, to a certain extent. And it's really just a matter of degrees to their badness. And really, I'm gonna play the videos, but really, I'm gonna stay on BioShock Infinite since it's kind of like this, in my opinion, kind of the center of all of this badness. Kind of the black hole of criticism is BioShock Infinite. The BioShock series is a game that got overhyped way back in the day because it was a game that talked about philosophy in an industry, in a medium that does not usually do that. In the best of times, doesn't usually do that sort of thing. And so BioShock, and so really, but the first BioShock game is one that just is, the writing is really bad, and the gameplay is mediocre, and the environment design is really what takes that game from being kind of like a total shit show. That game, the entire game, being a total shit show. Like the environment design, the aesthetic, the everything about that part of the game is utterly on point. But this whole thing is just like, and BioShock Infinite is BioShock, but without any of the aesthetic, any of the originality of the first one. Just that first wave of shock and awe that the first game kind of came out to. And so critical reception was a bit more mixed. In my opinion, most critics didn't even realize why they felt that way. They just knew something was off about this new one, even though in my opinion it's kind of the same game. It is the same game as the first one. It is just as bad, equally bad in the same ways. But because it doesn't have that aesthetic quality, people kind of twigged subconsciously that it was kind of like way worse. And that's just how it goes sometimes. And BioShock Infinite is such a confused, ugly, boring mess of a game. It is. It's not good. The gameplay is completely pedestrian. It has not evolved at all. Obviously, the Skyhook thing is pretty fun. I kind of wish a better game had him. I kind of wish a better game had the Skyhooks. I think a Battle Royale would probably use them pretty cool. Fuck, put them in Fortnite. I don't care. It just doesn't it's one of those games that equivocates. I gotta look up that word now. Equivocates.
Here's the definition of equivocate. Use ambiguous language so as to conceal the truth or avoid committing oneself.
I mean, it does equivocate, but that's not exactly what I mean. It compares the two. It believes that for one person to do a thing and another person to do the same or similar thing, that they equal each other. But in my opinion, a slave punching his slave master is not the equivalent of a slave master punching his slave. Those events are not equal. And once we, agree that is not equal, once we realize that actions can in fact have a different value depending on what you believe internally about the event, then you realize that there are, there is. I'm gonna spoil BioShock Infinite. Spoilers for BioShock Infinite. Skip, just don't listen for 5 minutes, I guess. But there is a character who is clearly a slave of the bad guy in BioShock Infinite. And she, I believe, is quote unquote romance. It's clearly an equivalent of the historical equivalent of Thomas Jefferson and Sally. Sally, fuck me, I can't remember her last name. And his slave who is named Sally, who he is dark, but he entered a quote unquote romantic relationship and has always been the source of has been the ultimate romanticized thing about the era of slavery that took place in, because people like to pretend that Sally and Thomas Jefferson were in love, when really Thomas Jefferson, best case scenario, was in love with his slave. And there is almost no chance that Sally actually reciprocated those feelings, but was in fact simply terrified of her would-be lover. And of course, Thomas Jefferson loved this woman so much, he did nothing to free her or the several children that she birthed because of him. And so there is a moment where, this happens in a similar way. She is blamed for the death of his son or daughter, I believe. I don't remember the exact thing. She gets blamed for something big. No, she kills the bad guy's wife. And so she starts a revolution in whatever the fucking city is called. And, at one point there's a split in the timelines. You get to go to 2 different timelines. One good, one bad. No, I'm sorry. In BioShock standards, those don't exist. One where the oppressive regime of what's-his-name wins, and one in which the oppressive regime of the slaves win. And so, you see the oppressive state, and then you change history to make it so that that way the slaves and the second class citizens win. But the second class citizens are too violent. They kill their former masters, which is supposed to be like a terrifying thing to you, the viewer. I can't believe they would do that. But as I've just mentioned, a slave killing his slave master is not the equivalent of a slave master killing his slave. And so BioShock Infinite believes that fighting back against your oppressor is the same thing as being oppressed. It is not the same thing as being oppressed. It is a completely different beast. Living under oppression, living under tyranny, living under a dictatorship is so much different than being a dictator, than being the oppressor. And so Bioshock Infinite, and really the first Bioshock, has really bad politics as well as just storytelling and gameplay and narrative. It's just all just so fucking bad. And it bleeds through to even the layman who, like, they loved the original Bioshock and could not get their, like, minds around the idea that, you know, all right, I got my call. All I'll say is it bleeds out into itself and made people realize just how, and most people didn't get it because to them the original Bioshock is an unabashed masterpiece, and they can't imagine questioning that kind of deep-seated belief. So they call Bioshock Infinite, disappointing. They call it kind of hollow. They feel, it's empty-headed, But it is just as quote-unquote smart as the original Bioshock. It is a bad game. As bad as the first one. It is not good. It is not enjoyable. Don't play any of these games. Or play them. I love playing bad things. I love engaging with media. Engage with media. Everybody out there, right now, engage with media. Even stuff you don't like. Especially the stuff you don't like. Figure out what makes it tick. Get into it and really realize what bad media is. Why it is that to you. What is good, what is bad? Bye. Goodbye. I have to go. I have a call to go to. Alright, bye. Bye, everyone. This was great. I really do love doing this. I don't even want to end it, but God, I got a call. Okay, bye. Goodbye.